we are speaking here that we need to take the land without compensation.
Yes.
We say that because we know how the land was taken from us. And we know that when they came in, especially with the Land Act, in 1913, they took over the land and turned the landowners into slaves. And they've pushed away our people from the center of economic activities. And we thought that thing only happened in 1913. But there is a proof that when we concluded CODESA, when we adopted sunset clauses, when we said we'll not tamper with their properties, many of them did not have property. Actually, they attained the deeds of grant from the deeds office, majority of them in 1994, on the eve of democratic elections. Many of them did not pay anything for that. Many of them just decided to fence the land and declare it their land without even having any documentation proving that these people are owning that land. An example is here in Rustenburg when we're building a road from Rustenburg to Pretoria, the new road by a democratic government. We had to pass through some farms. And they said they need money. We said we are going to pay you anyway. That is what the law says. We must pay you every time we take this land from you. We want to pay you, bring the title deed. They disappeared. Majority of them never came because they don't have that proof. Many of them, comrades, bought this land very cheap. Immediately after that, coerced our government to adopt a policy called willing buyer, willing seller. And with that adoption of that policy, they then connived because they are owning this land as families, and then decided to increase the price of the land. With that policy, only those who have money, they can buy the land. Our government does not have money. Our government cannot afford to buy the land. If they buy this land, we must be rest assured that this free quality education we're talking about, our government will not afford it after buying the land. They will not afford the health care. They will not afford housing, basic services after buying this land. They connived, they're selling the land at market-related value. Now, if the government cannot afford to buy this land, it's a clear indication that ordinary South Africans, me and you, we cannot afford. Now, who's going to afford to buy the land? It's foreigners. Because they come with foreign currency, and the value of their foreign currency is stronger than our currency. It is not theory. The land issue has moved beyond the issue of colonizers and apartheid into the Arabs. Between Varambat and Polokwane, there is an empty land there. If we check who owns that land, is the Arabs. They use the oil money to buy the land. And if you want to take it from them, you must pay with foreign currency. In 1994, immediately after 1994, we said we are going to transfer 30% of the land back to the people. Indications are clear that by 2014 we will not have met that commitment of 30%. We were transferring 30% because we were owning, as Africans or as blacks, 13%. So if we had succeeded to transfer 30% by 2014, it means we're going to be owning 43% in 20 years of our democracy. It was going to be better. But it's clear we'll not go beyond 5% by 2040. So what it means is that we are transferring with these policies, with the laws in place, with this constitution which is praised by everybody, it means we are transferring 5% every 20 years. What it means is that we'll transfer 20% in 100 years. What it means is that we will not even meet 30% in 100 years if we want to continue with these policies. We are refusing to be part of this failure. They have failed. They have failed. They failed to transfer the land back to the people. And therefore, we need a radical shift. We need to amend the Constitution, Section 25, which deals with property. And then we say to them, the land should be transferred back to the state. In the same way we transferred the minerals to the state. By the way, our minerals were in the hands of private sector. And we said we are transferring them back through legislation, through law. Let us use our majority. That's what we call political will and commitment. What is this majority for? Why are we always told to get two-thirds majority? Get it to do what? To be able to amend some of these compromises we've made before 1994. The land, the whole land must be transferred back to the state. Amen. Except residential areas. Because before we leave here, they are going to mobilize people against us. That they are coming to take your house. They are saying the land, everything must. Residential areas are very clear. That land is utilized for that purpose. When the land is back into the hands of the state, you must apply to utilize that land. And you must explain exactly what are you going to do with this land. Because we're not going to have a land fenced and majority of people don't have land. They are sharing small pieces of land. So we need to champion that as the ANC Youth League. Because there's nobody who's going to do that. History tells us that the youth are the ones who made 1994 possible through 1948. It's not a new thing. Professor dealt with the issue of industries and decentralizing our economy. There's nothing special about Gauteng and Johannesburg. It is beautiful today because of the discovery of gold. Other than that, there is not even a sea here. Maybe if it was Durban, maybe if it was Durban or Cape Town or Eastern Cape, perhaps that was going to be so special. Now, if discovering this nice mineral in Johannesburg made Johannesburg to be what it is, why are we not turning Rustenburg around with the discovery of platinum? Why are we not turning around Skukuni with the discovery of platinum? Why are we not turning around Kimberley? And I don't know why the apartheid decided to ignore Kimberley, because that diamond, they were mining it since. We should turn it around. There is nothing that looks like diamond in Kimberley. In Rustenburg, Skukunis West, it looks like a desert. But yet they've got a precious mineral and very profitable platinum. These industries we are talking about through beneficiation, they are simple. Prof is trying to simplify these issues for us, and that's what the Youth League is trying to do, because these people, when they want to undermine our aspirations, they will tell you will not understand economic issues. That's how they want to suppress and undermine our aspirations. This thing is simple like this. In Kimberley, there is diamond. We mine it. We polish it in Kimberley. And that means opening of another factory, by the way. And the opening of another factory means employment of other people from Kimberley. And after polishing it, you transfer it into the new factory of cutting the diamond. It's as simple as that. There is no complication about that. Why should people make it so? Why should they make it so difficult? Like it's something so difficult we can't understand it. Opening a factory and polishing diamond. If China is a real friend, or India, this BRICS arrangement, if they are our friends, and there is an argument that we don't have skills to polish and cut, and they've got those skills, they must come here, open the factories here, and teach us how to polish and cut. This is an economic struggle. They will discredit you. They will call you all manner of names because they control everything. They will investigate you. They will want to project you as this person, which people must be scared of. But over and above, they are friends. Once we take over this economy, they are likely to withdraw their investments. It's a reality that our prison will be the withdrawal of investments. There can be some decline of the economy. But for as long as we show the will and the commitment, they will come back. They did that in 1994. It will not be for the first time. They left the country. They said the country cannot be led by a prisoner. We don't know anything about running the country. The same thing they say today, you know nothing about running the economy. This economy will collapse. A prisoner proved them. And he ran a successful government. President Nelson Mandela. The prisoner proved them wrong. Yes. And we must prove them wrong. And the only way of proving them wrong is to equip ourselves with the necessary education. We must love our education. From the leadership of the youth to the last member, we must no longer compete about the clothes. We must compete about the qualifications. What do you have? That is the only way we will defeat them. The reason I say so is because they knew. That's why they introduced a separate education for blacks. They knew that with proper education, they will never oppress you. It is this education which is going to liberate us from this nonsense. This is a nonsense which we must never tolerate. And we don't need anybody's permission. This is our struggle. We are defining it for ourselves. We are not asking somebody to ask the Queen to give us permission. We are fighting against the ownership of property in South Africa by the Queen. The Queen must own in Britain, not here. And we must own here. Because the Queen, they are able to do such royal weddings, expensive as they are, because they exploit our resources. They run their economies through our resources. Without our resources, there will never be the so-called developed world. They are a developed world because of us. Thank you very much.
Amanza.